Trump's a wild guy. He's a wild guy. A lot of countries pitched in. Canada sent planes to help us out, and Mexico sent firefighters. And Trump was like, make sure they leave when they finish. When he was running for president, he said this. At a debate, he claimed that Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, were eating people's dogs and cats. That really upset me, because I live in Ohio. In fact, Yo, what's up, Ohio? I mean, it's a MAGA hat. Whatever, man. The scary thing about this presidency is what comes after it. Dave Chappelle just dropped a comedy nuke on Trump, and the fallout is hilarious. The king of comedy reluctantly took the SNL stage, but boy oh boy, did he bring the heat. From roasting Trump's wild antics to calling out the lack of empathy. For wildfire victims, Chappelle's monologue was a roller coaster of laughs and truth bombs. Stick around to hear how our favorite funny man turned Trump into the butt of his jokes and made us all think twice about our own humanity. Dave Chappelle, the comedy king, almost pulled a fast one on Saturday Night Live. Can you believe it? Our man Dave was this close to saying, thanks but no thanks, to hosting SNL right after the election. Talk about a missed opportunity. Picture this. Lorne Michaels, the big boss at SNL, is blowing up Dave's phone like it's the hottest ticket in town. But Dave, he's playing hard to get. Every time Lorne calls, Dave's got a new excuse up his sleeve. The other day on the news, they said these fires were the most expensive natural disaster in US history. And I watched these fire videos and read the comment sections. Everyone was like, yeah, it serves these celebrities right. I hope their houses burn down. You see that? That right there. That's why I hate poor people. And you want to know why I think that is? Because people in LA have nice stuff. I could burn 40,000 acres in Mississippi for like $600 or $700. Sorry, Lorne. My dog ate my script. Can't make it. I've got a bad case of the sniffles. Oh no, I just remembered. I have to alphabetize my sock drawer that day. But Lorne wasn't giving up that easily. He kept calling and calling, probably thinking, come on, Dave. Don't leave me hanging like Trump's toupee in a windstorm. Meanwhile, Dave's sitting there, probably thinking, do I really want to dive into this political circus? It's crazier than a squirrel on Red Bull. So what made our reluctant hero finally cave? Was it Lorne's persistence? The allure of the SNL stage? Or maybe Dave just ran out of creative excuses? Whatever it was, something clicked in that brilliant mind of his. He thought, you know what? I'm not going to rehash the same old Trump jokes everyone's been beating to death. I'm coming at this fresh. Like Trump's spray tan on a Monday morning. 1,000 Haitian immigrants were moved there by our government legally, and they pay market value for their rents. They saved a lot of companies because they did jobs that white folks weren't doing. I live one town over from Springfield. Now those of you from Ohio, I hope you know that's not what's happening in Springfield at all. What did happen in Springfield is that a lot of jobs went away. It's not that white folks couldn't do these jobs. They were just busy doing other things. You know, heroin, sleeping on the streets. You get it. But hold on to your mega hats, folks. Because just when Dave agreed to do the show, the universe threw a curveball. Suddenly, LA was hotter than Trump's collar during a Mueller investigation. Wildfires started popping up faster than Trump's tweets after bad press. Now Dave had a whole new problem. How was he supposed to crack jokes about the Orange Menace when half of California was turning into a giant campfire? It's like trying to roast marshmallows in a dumpster fire. Technically possible, but probably not a great idea. This added a whole new layer of oh crap to Dave's performance prep. It's one thing to make fun of Trump's hair or his tiny hands. But how do you balance that with a real disaster? It's like trying to juggle flaming chainsaws while riding a unicycle on a tightrope over a pit of hungry alligators. But our man Dave, he's not one to back down from a challenge. He looked at this mess and thought, all right, let's do this. It's like he put on his comedy cape and decided to save the day, one laugh at a time. He was ready to face the music, even if that music sounded like Trump trying to sing the national anthem. Dave knew he had to tackle both the political circus and the very real tragedy happening on the West Coast. It was like he was playing comedy chess while everyone else was playing checkers. He was ready to make people laugh, think, and maybe even feel a little uncomfortable, all at the same time. Little did Dave know, though, that this was just the warm-up act. The real fireworks were still to come. It was like he was standing at the base of Comedy Mountain, looking up, thinking, well, I guess there's nowhere to go but up. And up he went, ready to climb that mountain and plant his flag at the top. Reaching the summit with a bang, just when we thought Trump jokes were getting stale, Chappelle pulled out his secret sauce and turned that orange mess into comedy gold. It's like he discovered the humor equivalent of cold fusion, making even die-hard Trump fans squirm while keeping liberals on their toes. The anticipation was real. Everyone was waiting to see how Dave would tackle Trump's latest antics. How do you make fun of a guy who's already a walking punchline? It's like trying to make water wetter or Trump's spray tan even oranger. But Chappelle, being the comedy genius he is, had a few tricks up his sleeve. He kicked things off with his spot-on Trump impression, leaving the audience in stitches. It wasn't just the voice or the gestures. It was like Dave had crawled inside Trump's brain and was giving us a guided tour of the hamster wheel running in there. People were laughing so hard, I'm surprised they didn't need medical attention. But here's where it got interesting. Chappelle didn't just go for the low-hanging fruit. Oh no. He climbed the comedy tree and picked some premium laughs. He balanced humor with sharp political commentary. Like a comedy chess master, always 3 moves ahead. The audience's reaction was priceless. Trump supporters were visibly squirming in their seats, like a group of people who suddenly realized they left the stove on at home. You could almost hear the gears grinding in their heads as they tried to decide whether to laugh or be offended. But Chappelle wasn't done yet. He had some unexpected jabs that caught even liberal viewers off guard. It was like he was playing comedy whack-a-mole, and no one was safe, left, right, or center. Everyone got a taste of Dave's razor-sharp wit. Social media lit up like a Christmas tree on steroids. People were sharing their reactions faster than Trump tweets after bad press. Some were laughing their heads off, while others were shifting uncomfortably in their virtual seats. It was a real mixed bag of emotions. Chappelle's take on Trump jokes was fresher than the White House staff turnover rate. He took familiar Trump topics and gave them a clever twist, like using the same old ingredients to whip up a brand new recipe of hilarity. One moment, he'd have you nodding along with his political commentary, and the next, you'd be laughing so hard you'd forget what you were nodding about. It was a comedic roller coaster, and we were all just along for the ride. But let's talk about the standout Trump joke that became the talk of the town. I can't repeat it here. You'll have to watch the show yourself. But let's just say, it was spicier than Trump's taco ball tweets, and more explosive than his election fraud claims. It was the kind of joke that makes you go, ooh, and ha-ha, at the same time. Just when you thought Chappelle was done roasting politicians, he set his sights on an even hotter topic. Literally, the LA wildfires were blazing, and our man, Dave, decided to throw some comedic fuel on that fire. But how do you joke about a disaster without getting burned? Well, Chappelle's no stranger to walking the tightrope of controversy, and he wasn't about to let a little heat stop him. He kicked things off by addressing the elephant in the room, or should I say, the inferno in the hills. "I'm tired of being controversial," he said, playing it cool. "I'm trying to turn the page. It's too soon to joke about a catastrophe like this, but we all know Dave can't resist a challenge. And boy, did he rise to this one." Now you might be thinking, wildfires? That's about as funny as a wet blanket. But Chappelle has a knack for finding humor in the darkest places. He started by pointing out the ridiculous online reactions to the fires. Apparently, some folks thought it was a great time to burn the rich, posting comments like, "I hope celebrities' houses burn down. Real classy, internet?" Dave wasn't having any of that nonsense. He called out these keyboard warriors for their lack of empathy, basically saying, "Hey, maybe don't wish fiery destruction on people just because they have more money than you." It was like he held up a mirror to society, showing how ugly we can be when we forget our humanity. But Chappelle didn't stop there. He went full savage mode on these heartless reactions. "That's why I hate poor people," he said, hitting us with classic Chappelle misdirection, because they can't see beyond their own pain. Ouch. That's the kind of joke that makes you laugh and then immediately feel bad about laughing. But that's Dave's superpower, making us confront uncomfortable truths through humor. Now you might be thinking, "But Dave, aren't you just picking on the little guy here? Hold your horses," because our man had a clever twist up his sleeve. He pointed out that it wasn't just Hollywood elites getting their mansions torched. Plenty of regular folks were losing their homes too. Some poor souls even found out they didn't have fire insurance, right as the flames were licking their doorsteps. Talk about adding insult to injury. Chappelle's wildfire bit wasn't just about getting laughs, though there were plenty of those. It was a masterclass in using comedy to make a point. He took this tragedy and turned it into a mirror, reflecting our society's lack of empathy and our tendency to jump to conclusions without considering the full picture. But here's where Chappelle really showed his genius. He made an analogy about the wildfires that put the whole situation into perspective. He compared the devastation in LA to potential fires in other states, suggesting that the wealth of the area actually made the disaster worse. It's like he was saying, "Hey, maybe instead of wishing bad things on rich people, we should think about how our society's inequality affects everyone." Just when you thought Hollywood couldn't get any crazier, Dave Chappelle drops a truth bomb that'll make your jaw hit the floor. Our man Dave has the inside scoop on being an outsider in Tinseltown, and it's juicier than a tabloid headline. Turns out, even comedy royalty like Chappelle can feel left out of the glitzy Hollywood scene. Picture this: Chappelle standing on stage, looking utterly confused. He starts speaking in Spanish, throwing us all for a loop. Translation? He has no idea what's going on in the Hollywood circus, and everyone's looking at him like he's from another planet. But here's where it gets really wild. Chappelle, in his signature, self-deprecating style, admits he feels left out of all the scandalous Hollywood parties. He's reading the news like, "Poor Dave, finding out he's too ugly for the Hollywood orgies." Talk about a tough break. Now, you might think being a big shot comedian means living it up with the rich and famous, but Chappelle paints a different picture. He compares being a celebrity to storming the beaches of Normandy in World War II. That's right, folks. According to Dave, dodging paparazzi is like dodging bullets. Who knew fame could be such a battleground? But wait, there's more. Chappelle doesn't just stop at war analogies. He dives deep into the weird world of celebrity excess. Get this, he's never finished a bottle of baby oil in his life. What are these celebs doing with all that baby oil? On second thought, maybe we don't want to know. Through all this craziness, Chappelle manages to sneak in some wisdom. He reminds us that even in the wild world of Hollywood, personal growth is key. Super Aries, he says. It's like he's telling us, hey, even if you're knee-deep in scandals and baby oil, you've got to keep growing as a person. But here's the kicker. While Chappelle pokes fun at Hollywood's excesses, he also shows us how ridiculous it all is. He's the outsider looking in. And boy, does he have some thoughts. It's like he's holding up a mirror to celebrity culture and saying, look at this mess. And you know what? It works. By playing the confused outsider, Chappelle makes us all feel like we're in on the joke. We're right there with him, laughing at the absurdity of it all. It's a clever way of critiquing celebrity culture without coming off as preachy or bitter. All right, folks. Just when you thought Chappelle was done serving up laughs, he pulls a Jimmy Carter out of his hat. Yeah, you heard that right. Our comedy king decided to get all warm and fuzzy on us. And let me tell you, it was more surprising than finding out Trump actually paid his taxes. So there's Dave, wrapping up his monologue. Everyone's expecting him to go out with a bang. Maybe roast Trump one last time or crack a joke about Melania's gardening skills. But nope. Our man Dave decides to throw us a curveball that would make even the best MLB pitcher jealous. Instead of going for the laugh, Chappelle gets all serious. He starts talking about Jimmy Carter, of all people. Now I know what you're thinking. Jimmy Carter. Isn't he that peanut farmer who became president? Well, turns out he's a lot more than that, at least according to Dave. Chappelle starts in sharing his experiences from the Middle East, and suddenly, we're not at a comedy show anymore. We're in a TED Talk about leadership and humanity. Then Dave drops this bomb on us. I don't know if that's a good president, but I'm sure that's a great man. Whoa. Hold up. Are we still talking about a politician here? The audience didn't know what to do with themselves. Some people were probably checking their tickets, making sure they hadn't wandered into a history lecture by mistake. Others were nodding along, suddenly feeling all inspired and stuff. It was like Dave had flipped a switch, turning the laugh factory into a think tank. But here's the real twist. Chappelle wasn't done yet. He starts talking about empathy and how important it is for leaders to have it. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think of empathy, Trump isn't exactly the first name that pops into my head.